The 2022 film Smile follows therapist Rose Cotter. One of Rose's newest patients at a psychiatric ward is graduate student Laura Weaver, who claims to be terrorized by an evil entity who presents itself as unnaturally calm and smiling people. Rose suspects that Laura simply had a psychiatric break after traumatically witnessing her professor's death. Unfortunately, Laura's mental condition worsens, and she proves herself as being possessed by the evil entity when it forces her to calmly smile as she dies in front of Rose. Rose is horrified and traumatized by the incident, and soon begins experiencing the same things Laura described, seeing various people in her life smiling at her with an unnatural creepiness. While investigating Laura's professor, Rose discovers that before his death, he too claimed to be plagued with similar visions after witnessing a traumatic killing. As Rose explains her experiences to those around her, she is met with the same skepticism she gave Laura. Her boss, Dr. Morgan Desai, forces her to take a temporary leave of absence out of concern for her mental health. Rose's fiancé Trevor refuses to believe her claims of possession and fears she has gone crazy. Rose's therapist, Dr. Northcott, believes that she is simply dealing with the repressed trauma of watching her own mother die as a child. And even Rose's sister Holly believes that Rose is simply suffering from the same mental illness that plagued their abusive mother. In response to this, Rose calls out her sister for abandoning her after their mother's death. Feeling completely alone and scared, Rose turns to her ex-boyfriend Joel for help. The police detective looks into the old case files and discovers a series of seemingly self-inflicted deaths that all claim to have witnessed traumatic smiling deaths of their own within a week of their passing. Rose and Joel then discover a lone survivor in the chain of deaths, convicted murderer Robert Talley. Robert explains that the entity possessing Rose feeds on trauma, and the only way he could stop it when it possessed him was to murder someone in front of a traumatized witness, passing the entity onto them. Rose initially rejects this idea, but following more horrifying hallucinations, she considers murdering one of her patients in front of Dr. Desai, causing him to alert the authorities. Not wanting to kill someone to save herself, but also not wanting to pass on the entity to another victim, Rose decides to retreat to her childhood home to die alone, forcing the cycle of trauma to die with her. As Rose is confronted by more hallucinations, she is forced to come to terms with her decision to allow her abusive mother to overdose without calling for help. When Joel realizes Rose's plan to die alone, he races to the house to try to stop her. Unfortunately, Joel is too late, as the true form of the entity, a smiling monstrous creature, fully possesses Rose and forces her to set herself on fire in front of Joel, passing the curse on to him.